Uh, I'm just stalling. Just stalling. Okay. Welcome to Troy Graham Experience. So today's Monday and it's 6:30. And usually around this time I do the Daddy's Lounge show, right? Right. Not today, not today. I'm doing something a little different today because boxing lost one of his great gentlemen. They lost a great boxing scholar and gentleman and just an all around great fighter and folk hero and just someone who was really revered and looked at as a master of his craft in his boxing game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the one, the only, the body snatcher, Mike McCallum from Jamaica, like yours truly. He, Mike McCallum, when you say his name, he is to Jamaica, or Jamaican boxing, I should say. He is our Sugar Ray Robinson, the first Jamaican fighter to win a world title, the only fighter to win titles in three different weight classes. Simon Brown won titles in two different weight classes. Uh, and he brought to boxing an art that to this day no one does it better than him, and that's body punching. He made it. He was so subtle but deadly with it. I mean, he was deadly with it. He would start on your body from the start of round one, and if you weren't in shape, you'd be gone by round three. If you're that lucky, some people left by round two. You know, he was he was a boxer, but his power came when he was lifting you off the canvas with them body shots. That's the stuff he would put his weight into it. He was beautiful, beautiful to watch. One of his fights that I really enjoyed watching. Most people wouldn't enjoy because it was a 11, 12 round fight against uh, British Michael Watson. The reason why I liked this so much, it was because of how they boxed. Mike Watson was at the time one of the top boxers from out of the UK. He had beat Nigel Benn, and he had a great fight with Eubanks, and he was just over there killing it in England. I think he came to America, did a few things, and then I think he made I don't know if it was him or his trainer. This is Watson made the comment before the fight that Mike needs this fight. Mike McCallum needs this fight like he needs a hole in the head, right? Meaning that he's too old because Michael Watson was the younger one. From round one on, Michael Watson tried to impose his size and his youth and his strength on Mike McCallum. Big mistake. And Mike McCallum didn't engage him. He whooped his body up. I mean, he whooped Mike's body up to the point where by the middle rounds you could see Mike was Watson was just gasping for air. So Mike just kept slowly showing him the difference between student and master, not teacher, but master. And Mike just painted pretty picture all over his body. And Watson was so tired by the 11th round when Mike caught him with that right hand. He just fell flat on his back and was like, no mas, no mas. He didn't say that, but when you see somebody do this, they don't want no more. They don't want no more. And that's just one of his fights. I mean, he basically ran through Crunk back in the day. I know he beat Milton McCory, right? I know he beat him. He was a welterweight champion, and he moved up to super, the 154 to challenge Mike for his title. And Mike's end up stopping him in the later rounds. Then it was it Bruce Finch? I believe his name was Bruce Finch. Another tough guy. If I'm wrong about the name, then somebody correct me. But he was a tough one. He was not an easy out. Nobody. I mean, he was tough, and he beat some tough guys. Mike took care of him. Mike mopped him up. And then before all that, you know, he beat Sean Manahan, the tough Irishman, and took his belt in a unanimous decision. The fight wasn't all that entertaining, but it was a tough fight, and Mike won his first title way back in 84, 85, right? He took that, then he just went on a run. I think he won 6 in a row, defended his title 6 times in a row. And the final time that, but wait, I'm speeding along. Slow down, slow down. Okay, let me ease. I had so much love and respect for this brother. I had the pleasure of interviewing Mike Mccallum and Julian Jackson and Tommy Brooks on the same show. If you want to watch that interview, go to Major Key Boxing, type in Major Key Julian Jackson. Because I made the call out to Mike and had a good conversation with him, and he showed up. He showed up for me, man, and I was just like, you could hear me on the platform. I don't usually get shook up or anything, but when Mike came on there, I was like, whoa. And you heard me in the background, like, whoa. Sounding like Black Rob. Whoa. Like, whoa. But yeah, I love watching him work. But let's slow it down a bit. So he was making his, and in the amateurs, he beat Marlon Starlin, which was never an easy out. Marlon Starlin was a damn good fighter, and he beat Roger Leonard. You say, well, who's that? That's Sugar Ray's older brother, and he was a damn good fighter himself. We had him on Major Key too. He talked about things, but he respected Mike. Every fight I had on, that was a middleweight or something like that. They all respected Mike. Michael Nunn. He just, when you mention Mike McCallum to him, he just like, man, I would love to get that fight with Mike. I really respected him. Then there's the interview with Hagler, right? Where Hagler said, well, this is Mike. This is Mike saying what Hagler said, but it was confirmed. It was confirmed that he didn't want to fight him. Pretty much once he got to the meat potatoes of the conversation was he didn't want to fight him because he was high risk, low reward. But I mean, first he said that they were brothers and they were friends, and he won't fight him. And he's like, if I'm your friend, you can put some money in my pocket. You should have fought me. Notice that Ray Leonard didn't fight Mike McCallum. Tommy Hearns didn't fight Mike McCallum. Who I say? Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Hagler didn't fight McCallum. That fight with Tommy Hearns and Duran was supposed to be Mike McCallum and Duran. But because he was at Crunk, and Tommy and him were in the same weight class, but Tommy was the big name, Emmanuel Stewart gave that Duran fight to Hearns and gave Mike the fight with Manahan. And that's how he ended up getting that fight, because he was scheduled to fight Duran. Right? Right. So that's how that fight came about. But when asked about the if Toney would ever fight uh, Mike McCallum, Emmanuel was like, no. He's the only man in that gym that Tommy couldn't land his right hand on. Tommy couldn't touch Mike McCallum with his right hand at all. That's what he said out his own mouth. And then if you go on YouTube and type in Tommy Hearns versus Mike McCallum, you'll see them sparring. Please do yourself a favor and go watch that sparring match. Beautiful, beautiful thing to see. I just appreciated the brothers. The brother was a class act in there. He stayed with his poker face and he did little subtle movements. But let's just go back to what he did at 154. I don't think he had one decision in when he was I think he defended his title 6 or 7 times at 154 pounds, and none of his opponents went to decision. None of them. They're all either TKO or got knocked out. The one fight that started opening up doors for him was a unification match with this magnificent, brutal Virgin Island fighter named Julian Jackson. Up and coming brother, young, 28, was just knocking out everybody. I mean, you put him in front of Julian, they going down. That's it, they going down. Right? So Julian got in there with Mike. First round, Mike, like Holyfield, wanted to feel his power a little bit. So Mike says, so he felt it all right, and he did the old dirty leg. He did the old chicken leg dance, and Mike McCallum was shaking up. So what he did was he held him for a little bit, cleared his head, then he started using his jab to keep him away. And when Julian would try to bull rush him coming in, he'd get them angles on him. And you saw, if you watch that Julian Jackson fight, go watch it. There's a breakdown of the fight on YouTube. Go watch it on YouTube. When he hits Julian to the body, boof, boof, boof. You can see Julian's legs lift up off the canvas. That's how hard he was hitting Julian Jackson off the canvas. Like, boof, boof. And then by the second round, Julian was a little bit tired, but he was still Julian Jackson, that one hit a quitter all day long. So I think he almost tagged Mike again. But Mike got him in the corner with that jab, but had body shots. He gave him just enough. He gave him just enough space that he would have enough time to shift and slide away and hit him with a counter, come back to the body. All of that was beautiful. So once he got Julian in the corner, his head got lifted up by an uppercut. Referee stopped the fight. TKO. Mike McCallum was unified at that point, right? He was unified. So yeah, boy. And then came the monster, the man they called the Cobra back in the day, Donald Curry, another excellent, beautiful fighter who was at welterweight, but he outgrew welterweight. He only lost one fight, and that was to Lloyd Hunnigan, another Jamaican, who stopped Donald Curry. But then Donald Curry went on a winning streak at 154, and the match was made for him and Mike McCallum. Curry was mowing people down at 154. So the going thing is, even though Mike was the champion and the bigger fighter, Curry was gonna beat him. That's what the bookies and everybody, Curry gonna beat him. It was even, people believe this so much that he already has signed a contract to fight Ray if he wins. When he wins, right? He's signed to fight Ray Leonard when he wins. Amazingly, when Mike McCallum beat Curry, he didn't get the same offer from Ray. You know what Ray said? I'm not fighting this man. He says high risk, low reward. Never understood that foolishness. Because you're going to go. Listen, It's not every fighter. Is not one fight in history of boxing that always fights someone that's high reward. So for these people not to give Mike his shot was just blasphemous. It was blasphemous. They should have gave the brother his shot and give him a chance to shine on the stage he's never been on. But anyway, Mike goes up and he stops Curry. It was a beautiful. It was scientific. It was a scientific just execution of damn near perfection. When he was Mike, he had stunned Mike. Donald Curry stunned Mike in the first round because he was so quick. Curry was quick and in and out and quick and just it's like they were matching. It's like they were almost mirror images of each other with their styles, except Curry was a step quicker. Mike was bigger and stronger, but Curry was fast. So he kept tagging Mike, and he had Mike go down and come back up in the first round. So what Mike realizes is that that's what that Curry's expecting him to go to the body. Each time he does his jab and then throws the right, he's expecting a body shot to come. So what he did was he threw the jab, faked the right hand, and act like he was going to throw the hook to the body. But he came up with it as Curry was coming down to his body, and he put his head up. Mike came in with a picture perfect left hook. Bam! Yeah, that fight's on YouTube too. Please, before all these fights disappear, that to me was the most pure boxing match I ever saw between Mike Mccallum and Donald Curry. That was just beautiful. I could watch it 1,000 times and I'll learn something new each and every time. It was beautiful. So go watch Donald Curry versus Mike Mccallum. So Mike wins, and I think he reaches out of the ring and asks Ray, "Can I get next? Can I get next?" And Ray was like, "Nah, man, I ain't fighting you. I ain't fighting you." So that's why I say there's an asterisk when it comes to those four kings, with the exception of Duran, because Duran was going to fight him. So the other three, you know, there's an asterisk there. I don't get it. Don't understand it. Understand? Because they should have fought the man. He had value and he had skill. It wasn't that he was low risk. He had value. He just beat Curry. He beat Julian Jackson. He beat McCory. He beat the other Trump. He was on a win streak. They just didn't want to take that chance and lose to someone who they believe wasn't on their level. So we, the fans, were robbed of that great fight. But you know what happened next? So after having a great win, that's two, against Donald Curry at 154, Mike was like, "Man, I don't think I can make 154 and I want to move to 160." So he goes to 160 and he loses. He loses. I believe he wins the championship and then he loses it to Sambu Kalamwe, an African fighter from out of France. Sambu's style was really like energetic and it was all based on timing. He was a southpaw, big, strong southpaw, but his timing was something special. He had this style where he could just throw off a guy like Mike Mccallum. And see, if you start fast on Sambu, you have to maintain it because he picks it up after the sixth round. Sambu will pick it up and he'll change gears, gear it down, and pick it up. Then he just changes his. He's very hard to figure out if you're not a master like Mike Mccallum. So he beat Mike in the first fight. Then in the second fight, Mike starts out fast and start putting his hands on him as much as he can in the early rounds, and he survives the later rounds, and I think he wins by split decision over there in France. So he gets his belt back. Then he just goes on another run, making another run, the love boat. But anyway, So Mike goes on another run. He beats Irish. The heck is? I just saw the brother's name too. What's his name? Irish. Oh my gosh! Somebody help me out and correct me. Irish somebody from Boston. I mean Stevie Collins. He beats Stevie Collins from Boston. He put hands all over Stevie, but Stevie was not someone you knock out because Mike was tearing his body up and he tried to tested his chin and he ain't going nowhere. But he won. But you could see Stevie's body just all red from the body shots because he was so pale, right? And Mike did his thing with him. He did his. He beat him. He clearly Steve wasn't in his class. Then trying to figure who else did Mike beat. It was quite a few of them at middleweight. There was Sambe, there was Stevie Collins, and there was I told you all about Mike Watson already. But then he got in there with the up and coming monster. The one James Toney. That guy who knocked out Michael Nunn previously. Then he knocked out he beat another good tough southpaw who went on to be light heavyweight champion Reggie Johnson. Reggie Johnson. Now I don't know about you, but not too many people could say they fought Mike McCallum. They could have fought Michael Nunn, Reggie Johnson, Mike McCallum. But anyway, this is what happened. It was supposed to be a unification fight with James and Mike McCallum. From what I read, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Mike was told he had to pay so much in sanctioning fees, and he said, "Fine, I'll pay it." But then they came back and wanted $50,000 more or something like that. He said, "I'm not paying that. I just paid you for sanctioning fees." So they stripped him. He made weight and everything, but they wanted more money out of him, so they stripped him. And that's why it wasn't a unification bout. So Hagler was doing commentary on that fight. Even he was like, "Whoa, what a great fight." So when Mike came in the ring that night, he said it on some interview. He was mad because guy asked him, "Why didn't you go to the body till later on?" He said, "I was just mad." And every time James hit him hard, he fired back at James. If he was in his right mind, he would have he would have edged James out and beat him in that fight. I really believe that because every the thing on James at the time was the body. So and Mike was a master of the body, but he didn't do the body thing that night. Right? He didn't do it. But it was a great fight, and it showed the world two great fighters, and James. Mike McCallum gained James Toney's respect that day because he's like, that's one tough old man. To this day, some 30 years later, James Toney will still tell you that is the toughest fight I've ever had. And they fought 3 times. The second time, I can honestly say Mike really won that fight, but they gave it to James because what Mike was doing the first fight is he would counter James and then stay far enough away where James with them long arms could counter him, right? So second fight, he would counter James, then he would get close to him so James couldn't counter him. And then he would spin him and turn him and do other things. So that's why I say that he beat James in the second fight, right? But the third fight, they should never had that fight. That was just a waste of time. But yeah, that was just some of the stuff that this gentleman did, man. Imagine coming from an island and you are the first to do something and you're considered the best of the best. And those history books in your own country will forever remember you and pass your works down to children. Picture that. Picture that. Pass your works down to children. You know? So after that, Mike moved up to 168, where he could have won a title, but for some ridiculous reason, he didn't. He didn't fight. He didn't win a title there. So then he jumped to 175, which I really thought was too big. I think, 160 was should have been his limit of 168 because those guys at 168 really are cruiserweights. They're really cruiserweights. And I just thought they were too big. And then the guys at 175 were really small heavyweights, you know, which Mike found out when he lost to Fabrice Tizo, whatever his name is. That man ended up fighting that cruiserweight and winning the title. He was just too big. He was once you saw him in the ring. What's up, Major? Once you saw him in the ring, you knew that Mike, he was just too big for Mike, and Mike was older than him. So Mike couldn't deal with him, you know. So, but yeah, what I really appreciated with Mike is that he was class, man. He was pure class in the ring. Even though when they fought, Mike Mccallum passed away, brother. I think it was last night or the day before. Mike McCallum passed. Yeah, he was in his car driving, then he pulled over and died, based on what I read. But I'm thinking he might have had a stroke. I'm not sure because they didn't give you the reason for his death. But he's no longer with us. But yeah, that's why I'm doing a tribute show, and when I come back, I'm gonna do some more shows on the good brother. But yeah, that's Major Key, y'all. We interviewed with the only people in boxing YouTube that interviewed Mike McCallum and Julian Jackson. Uh, we're the only ones that did that. It was Mike McCallum, Julian Jackson, and Tommy Brooks all on the same panel. No other boxing show now, I mean then, now, or in the future could ever say that they did that. But we did that. We did it. It was a great show. I had a little sound issues, but still the spirit of the show was great. It was great. And I'm always gonna remember that, you know? Always gonna remember that. But some of my favorite fights, just I used to watch Mike McCollum's fights over and over and over. And I think Julian may have popped up too. I think he did. I think he did. I haven't watched it in a while, but I think Julian. I think he might have popped up too, brother. So yeah, we had a lot of Hall of Famers on that day, man. Good show. But yeah, you probably at work, so you can't come on because the link is there. Yeah, but yeah, what I was saying, I'm always gonna remember the class that he brought to the fight game. This is Mike McCallum, and the respect that he got from his peers. I mean, Roy Jones made a comment that Sugar Ray and all of them got the limelight and got all the accolades, but Mike was the one with the talent. That's out of Roy Jones' mouth. I believe that. I might have to paraphrase that. I'm paraphrasing, but I believe that's what the good brother said, right? And like I said, James Toney said he was the toughest fight he ever had. Those other fighters in England, once they saw what Mike did once they saw what Mike McCollum did to Michael Watson, Nigel Benn ain't want no part of him. Eubanks ain't want no part of him. None of them. Oh, he beat Herol Graham when Herol Graham was a tough out. He beat him in England. But then this is Mike. Mike said, I'll never fight him again. He's too damn difficult. Herol Graham was an excellent fighter, a southpaw, but difficult fighter. Woo, he was difficult. Yeah, his style, they said, gave birth to Prince Nazim's style, but just a difficult out. That man could fight. He could box. He can box, y'all. And and Mike went into his country and beat him, into his own country and beat him. But what I was saying is that even the great Simon Brown, another fighter from Jamaica, we interviewed him as well. He said that I think it was his first fight was on a Mike Mccallum undercard. So he opened the doors for a lot of people. Yeah, Mike jokingly said on an interview we did, no, Julian asked Mike McCallum for a rematch in June. Mike McCallum said, "No man, no man, you punch too hard, Julian. You punch too hard, Julian." Right? It's just that they haven't seen each other. I think in 20, was it 20 years or plus years like that? But the energy that they had when they were on the show was ridiculously positive, man. They had this brotherhood, and it was no negative forces around. It was just a beautiful thing to see them two brothers together, man. It was beautiful. I'll never forget that. That's the one time I can honestly say that I was in awe of something. I don't get shook up. I mean, but to see them two together, I had to, it gave me some pause, gave me some pause. I like that. Definitely like that. But yeah, if you're any trainers out there that are training youngsters, you want to see how to throw body shots, because please go watch Mike McCallum versus Michael Watson. And also, if you want to show your fighters how to fight a puncher, please watch Mike McCallum versus Julian Jackson. Just, I mean, if you want to watch any type of style, there's so many styles that he's fought, and he's come out on top. You know, he's come out on top. He was that good with it. He was working in the Devin Haney camp for a while. You know, so he just didn't have skills as a fighter, but he was a trainer as well. And his trainer was the great Eddie Fudge. So it was beautiful to see them two together, man. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. He needs to have a museum in Jamaica or something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I really, if if I if I can, I'm gonna try hard to get that man a museum in his country, in our country. I really am. I really just appreciate him, and I never want him to be forgotten, because I don't even think he's getting the respect he now that he should. I really, really don't think he's getting the love and respect he should be getting. Man, his passing should be felt by every boxer that knows boxing. All the youngsters that are coming up, they should take a time out in every gym, just give them a few moments of silence and say, well, this was a great one right here. Give them some homework. Give them a couple of fights to watch with Mike McCallum. Let it be the Curry one. Let it be the Jackson fight. And it could either be Toney after that or Watson. I would prefer you watch Watson, because his body work and his calmness is better. What you saw in the Toney fight was an angry McCallum, right? So let them watch those three fights: Curry, Jackson, and Watson. Let them watch those three fights. Now, Watson fight might be a little boring to some, but just watch his technique and the subtleness of how he throws those body shots. He was just nice with it like that. He was just boom, slide over, boom, boom. Just he was just nice with it. It's subtle. You watch it because you might miss it. See, that's what they say. When these gentlemen are gone, they're gone, but their life's work is on display right here on YouTube. So take the time and learn from them. It'd be even better if you could talk to them when they're alive, because the amount of knowledge I picked up from the little conversations I used to have with Mike off air were incredible. He'd tell me things. I asked him about the slipping and sliding when he was boxing, and he was just like, he just you just watched. You watch how a person bends or shifts their weight on their legs, and then that's how he got him. And he would set traps for you. Like he would make you think that you could come in on him. The minute you come in on him, uppercut to the gut, make a boom to the left. You know, to the rib cage. Then he gonna jab his way out, and if you think you want to rush him again, boof, come back with that right hand. I mean, nice, just nice. I mean, nice, 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 nice. I wish that brother would have got a chance to fight Leonard, Hearns, and Hagler, but history robbed us. And Wilfredo not Benavidez, Benitez. I would have loved to see Mike fight him at 154. Oh gosh, not everybody would have enjoyed that fight. I would have. I would have though. I would love to see that fight. Love it. Woo! I would love to see him and Mike Mccallum and Michael Nunn. I hope Mike is watching because I think y'all two would have put on a great fight. I hope this gets back to James. James, you and that brother are forever cemented in history as having one of the greatest fights ever. Ever. I don't know how many times I watched that fight hoping for a different outcome. You were great, but I ain't rooting. Hey, that's my country, man. I got to root for him, baby. You great. Everybody else you fight, I'm rooting for you, James, but not against my countrymen. My Lord, man. I really felt it when I was just scrolling and through and I saw that the brother passed away, and I'm like, nah. It's one of them stupid things people post on Facebook. It's not true. So then I ran to Google. And sure enough, it was right there, all up on the Google, on news, different websites. The good brother passed. But yeah, if you're a trainer, please go watch this good brother fight and introduce your students to him. Please. Don't let all that great work go away. I mean, because he is the body punching what Michelangelo and Picasso are to great works of art. He's that nice with it. He's just picture perfect, paint a perfect picture. That's how great he was with it, you know? So don't let those works go to waste. Introduce yourself to them. If you're a trainer, introduce your youngsters to them from the age of 6 on up. And forever drill that into their heads. That's one fighter you want them to know about. Don't let that good work go to waste. I'm not trying to tell you to adopt his style, but pick up things here and there from him because he was only knocked down once, and that was by Roy Jones, and that was when he was damn near 50. And he fought punches, like I said, Julian Jackson, James Toney, Sumbu could crack too, make no doubt about it. Donald Curry could crack too at 154, make no doubt about it. You know, he fought some big punches now. I'm forever gonna miss that brother, man. I know I'm gonna go watch a couple of his fights once I get off air. But, it's one of those things where there's life, there's death. So when the man transitioned on to the next journey of life, and I personally wish him all the peace and blessings his soul wants and desires. Good brother, good brother, very good brother. Always, always, always. When I heard that he was gonna fight, I would light up because he would come on. His fights usually come on Saturday afternoon. I get a treat to watch him put that work in. Put that work in. You gonna get this work. You gonna get this work. So I would love it. I would love it. Love seeing him. You know. Heavy is the heart, man. Heavy is the heart today of the experience. Lost one of my. I was like one of my heroes along with Simon Brown. I could honestly say I didn't know him personally, but I got to have a lot of phone conversations with the brother and just, mm, you know, absorb some things from him. Because I was like, Mike, I really like that Watson fight, man. And he was just like, yeah, he thought I was too old. That's what he said. He said he thought I was, Watson and his people thought I was old. hmm I showed him. Yes, you did, good brother. You showed them all right. You put them on notice. Just like with the Julian fight, you put them on notice. With the old Curry fight, they took notice. You didn't put that the world took notice after you that beautiful, beautiful fight, and you put the exclamation point on it with that picture perfect left hook. That joint was a thing of beauty, which is a joy for life. Pygmalion, right? So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, y'all. Listen, what I can say about things like this is don't wait to capture those moments. When your soul tells you capture those moments, you go. Don't let nothing stop you. You don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have the energy. Now, because something like this could happen and you'll miss out on your window of opportunity. You understand? You'll miss out. And you don't want to miss out on your window of opportunity. Oh, mighty, mighty people, you don't want to miss out. When your blessing comes a knocking, know what it sounds like so you can let it in. Okay? If you don't know the knock, you ain't gonna let it in. And it's gonna move on to the next one in need of a blessing. So I was blessed to have conversations with a good brother. I was blessed to have him on a classic interview that can never be duplicated. Ever. Understand? Never, ever, ever. Let me catch my breath. So excuse me. Let me give the brother a good moment of silence here, and then I think I'm gonna turn it in. Just give him a few moments of silence, shall we? Yeah, 12. That was 12 right there. Gave the brother 12. But look, I'm gonna be out of town for the next couple of days, so don't know if I'm gonna do Daddy's Lounge. Well, I'm definitely not doing one tomorrow because I'm gonna be on a train, and that ain't gonna work. And Friday, I'm not doing it Wednesday and Friday because I'm gonna be on a crowded train, so I don't background noise and all that ain't gonna work out. You know. So today's the one and only day you'll see my pretty face this week. I'm coming back with some more tribute shows. Maybe I got some things in the works that's on my mind. It's on my mind. So we'll see. We'll see if I still got that 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 beautiful black magic to pull it off. We'll see. See if I still got the Lord's gift in me. Still pull that off. You know. What y'all think? Think I can pull it off? Mm. I miss the brother. I do. I do. I do. I miss the fighter. Yeah, when he retired, I was like, man, time took the great man from us. He took it. The time is undefeated. The time is so needed. Make sure you humble when you meet it. You don't get greedy with it, but you just greet it. All right, now. On that note, I'm gonna give y'all about 30 seconds so I get a whole 45 minutes up in the joint. And I'll bid y'all all adieu. But I will be back. I will be back, just not this week. Busy week for me. Got things to do, so I'm gonna go do them. Oh, I'm just stalling. There you go. Mike Mccallum, peaceful journey, my dear brother. I will be back and share some more notes with the people about you because I'm not going to let you go with a whisper. I'm not going to do that. It ain't going to be a, well, yeah, he was great, click, man. Nobody, no, I'm not letting you go with no whisper, brother. You know, you larger than that. You're bigger than that. You're worth more than that. You're greater than that. So me personally, I ain't letting you go quietly into the night. I don't care what nobody else does. I don't care what nobody else does. But on this show, Mike Mccallum is not going to fade quietly into the night. Not happening. Not happening. I'm gonna speak on him as much as I can. Not to nauseism, but to the point where I feel I need to stop. Not when you want me to stop. So that being said, bless up, one and all. Peaceful journey, brother.